It all started when I was sitting at my computer chair. I wasn't doing anything special, wasn't meditating, wasn't trying to have some kind of experience. I was just sitting there the way I've sat there 1,000 times before. And then something happened I still don't have complete words for. My name is Jared, and this is Jared Speaks. Welcome to Space Between the Thoughts. I need you to stay with me for the next 30 minutes or so because we're going tonight. Most people never go there. Not because they can't, but because nobody ever showed them the door. Today, I'm going to show you the door. Let me take you back to that night. I was sitting at my computer desk in my chair, the same chair I sat in every day. In my mind, the part of my mind that shows me images, it pulled up a picture, not on the screen, in my head. It showed me an image of myself sitting outside in my backyard underneath this tree I love. Now, if you've never just sat under a tree for hours, I feel sorry for you because there's something about that particular chair under that particular tree that just does something to me, slows everything down, like the world gets quiet in a way it doesn't anywhere else. The chair itself, it's got these ridges in it made out of this synthetic plastic material. And when you lean back against it just right, those ridges hit your back in the perfect way that feels like the chair was made for specifically your spine. I don't know how else to describe it. You'd have to feel it. So my mind showed me that chair, and I started thinking about being in it. And slowly, without realizing I was doing it, I let my eyes relax. You know, the thing you do where you let your eyes go soft, where instead of focusing on anything specific, everything just kind of blurs. Like when you were a kid staring at a point of those magic posters, waiting for the hidden image to appear. I did that, and something shifted. Everything around me started to fade, not disappear, just pull back. Like someone was slowly turning down the volume on the room. The hum of the computer, the light from the screen, my awareness of the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. All of it just stepped back. And my focus, my actual conscious awareness, went somewhere else. It went to that chair outside under the tree. And for a moment, just a brief moment, my conscious actually felt like it was sitting in that chair, not imagining it, not picturing it, not feeling it. Feeling it. I could feel the ridges, the specific texture of the plastic against my back. The weight of my body settled into it. The way air feels different outside under the street than it does anywhere else in the world. I was there. I was actually there. Then my back started to itch. Now, if you've ever sat in a chair outside, my chair outside, you know what I do when my back itches? I lean back against those ridges, let them do the work. It feels incredible. Best back scratcher in the world, honestly. So that's what I did. I leaned back to scratch my back on the chair outside, except I wasn't outside. I was in my computer chair. And when I leaned back, my computer chair started swinging. And I want you to understand something. That moment, that single moment of the chair swinging, it wasn't just surprising. It wasn't just a little jump scare. It cracked something open in me. Because for that one fraction of a second, my brain genuinely believed I was in that other chair. Not metaphorically, not in a dreamy, half sleep kind of way. My conscious had actually relocated, and reality had to physically shake me to bring me back. I sat there for a minute, just breathing, heart going a little faster than I'd like. And the first thing I thought was, this has happened before. About a week before the chair, maybe a little less. I can't remember exactly. I was standing in the bathroom, just standing there the way you do sometimes, not doing anything particular, just existing in the room, mapping. I've got this. I don't even know how to explain it to someone who doesn't experience it, but I can step back from my own thoughts and look at them. Like instead of being inside the river, I can climb up the bank and watch the water move. So I was doing that in the bathroom. I was thinking about my autopilot, the part of me that just runs on automatic, goes through the day, has conversations, makes decisions without me fully being there for any of it. And then I thought about the part of me that shows me images, my visual layer, the part that pulled up the chair that night. And then I did something I hadn't done before. I stepped back from both of those. I went to a third place, a kind of overview, a bird's eye view of all of it, my thoughts, my images, my autopilot, all of it laid out below me like a map. And from that place, I looked at my body, and it didn't feel like mine. I want to be careful how I say this because I know how it sounds. I'm not saying I left my body. I'm not saying anything spooky happened. What I'm saying is, from that third layer, that overview place, that bird's eye view of my own consciousness. The body I was standing in felt like a body, not my body, just a body. Something I was observing, something I was operating like a vehicle, like a vessel. And the thing doing the observing, the thing watching the body from the removed place, that felt like me. And I could feel, even in the moment, how that could go wrong. I could see how someone could step into that space and not find their way back. How you could get lost in all that dissociation and just stay there, untethered, floating. And I didn't want that. So I did something I want to teach you today because it might be one of the most important things I know. I sat down, feet flat on the floor, and I breathed 4 seconds in through my nose. I held for 4 seconds. And then I spent the next 6 seconds exhaling. I did that for about 2 minutes, and then I opened my eyes. I started looking around the room. How many things can I find that are red? How many things can I find that are blue? How many things can I find that are green? And slowly, object by object, color by color, I came back. Back to the room, back to the body, back to Jared. I think about that moment a lot because I realized something that day standing in the bathroom that I don't think I can fully explain, but I'm going to try. There are layers to what we are. Most layers than most people ever discover. And most people go their whole lives living in just the first one. Let me try to describe what I mean. Think about right now, this moment. You're listening to my voice. There's a part of you on autopilot right now. It's keeping you breathing without you thinking about it. It's keeping your heart beating. It processed those last sentences you even consciously registered them. It's running 1,000 background processes that you'll never be aware of. That's layer one, the autopilot. It's not bad. It's not the enemy. You need it. Without it, you'd have to consciously remember to breathe every few seconds, and you'd never get anything else done. But it can become a prison if you never go deeper. Because some people, a lot of people, live their entire lives in that one layer and never know there's anything else. Layer two is where it gets interesting. Layer two is where the images live. Close your eyes for a second if you can do it safely. Think of your front door. You just saw it, didn't you? You didn't think about it in words. You didn't describe it to yourself, you just saw it. Full color, real as anything. That's layer two. Your mind's eye, your visual processor. The part of you that dreams at night and daydreams during meetings and can put you in a place so completely that your body starts to respond as if you're actually there. Which, as I learned in my computer chair, it absolutely can. But layer three, layer three is the one part that changes everything. Layer three is the part of you that can watch the other two. It's the observer, the witness, the part of you that can step back from your own thoughts and watch them move, like climbing out of a river and setting on the bank. Most people have touched it briefly, in meditation maybe, or in those rare quiet moments where everything else goes still and you suddenly become aware that you are aware. Like the mind folding back on itself and seeing its own reflection. That moment in my bathroom when I stepped back so far that my body felt like just a body, that was layer three. And from layer three, the question that changes everything becomes possible to ask. If I can watch my thoughts, then I am not my thoughts. If I can observe my body, then I am not my body. If I can step back from every layer of what I thought I was, then what's left? What is the one thing that's doing the watching? That question has been asked by every philosopher, every mystic, every person who ever sat quietly enough to hear it. And I don't have the answer. But I've been to the place where the question lives. And I can tell you this, it's the most real place I've ever been. I want to zoom out for a second, way out. The universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old. 13.8 billion years. Do you have any sense of how long that is? Let me put it in a different way. If you compressed all of time from the Big Bang to right now in a single year, one calendar year, every dinosaur that ever walked the earth shows up in mid-December. And the entire existence of human beings shows up at the last 37 minutes on December 31st. Every war ever fought, every empire ever built, every song ever written, every person you've ever loved, the last 37 minutes of the last day. Now, here's the part I can't stop thinking about. For 13.8 billion years, the universe existed. Stars were born and died. Galaxies collided. Elements were forged in the hearts of dying suns. Planets cooled, oceans formed, life crawled out of the water. And for almost all of that time, nobody was watching. The universe was just happening to nobody, for nobody, an incomprehendibly vast and beautiful thing with no eyes to see it. Until one day, something happened that never happened in 13.8 billion years. The universe looked at itself. You are the universe looking at itself. I know that sounds like something you'd read on a poster in a college dorm, but I mean it literally. The carbon in your body was forged in a star that exploded billions of years before you were born. You were the stardust that became complex enough to wonder where it came from. When you look up at the night sky on a clear night and you see those stars scattered across the dark, you are the universe looking at itself through your eyes, asking its own question: what am I? I think about that when I'm sitting in that chair outside under my tree, looking up at the sky. And I think maybe that's the whole point. Maybe consciousness isn't something that happens to the universe. Maybe consciousness is the universe finally being able to perceive itself. Maybe we are how God sees. And if that's true, if you are the universe made aware of itself, if you are God's eye looking back at his own creation, then the deepest thing you could ever do is look inward. I need to get honest with you for a minute. I spent most of my life being someone I wasn't. Not lying exactly, just adapting constantly, exhaustingly. Around some people, I was funny. Around others, I was serious. Around some, I made myself smaller so they'd feel comfortable. Around others, I performed a confidence I didn't actually feel. I was a chameleon, and I thought that was a skill. What I didn't know was nobody ever told me was that I was paying for it. Every time I put on a version of myself that wasn't real, every time I said what the room needed instead of what was true, every time I laughed at the right moments and looked interested when I wasn't, and pretended to be okay when I was falling apart. I was spending something I couldn't afford to keep spending. There's a word for it: masking. And if you've done it your whole life, the way I have, you get so good at it that you stop being able to find yourself underneath it. You reach for the real thing, and there's just another mask. and another underneath that. And then you start to wonder if there was ever anything real down there at all. I'm here to tell you there is. And I know because I found it. Not all at once. Not in some dramatic lightning bolt kind of moment, but slowly, painfully sometimes, in a quiet room, and hard conversations with myself, and moments like the one in my bathroom when I stepped back so far from everything I thought I was that I could finally see it clearly. There's something underneath all of it, something that was there before the mask, before the performance, before the world got to you and started telling you who you were supposed to be. You know when it was most there? When you were little. Before you knew you were supposed to be different than you were. Before the first time someone laughed at you for being too much. Before the first time you learned that certain parts of you weren't welcome in the room. Before all of that, there was just you. Curious, open, alive. Fully yourself without even knowing that was something that you could be. That's what I'm looking for. Not who I'm supposed to become, who I was before the world got to me. That's the journey. And I want to take it with you. I want to take you somewhere before we close. You've been there before. I promise you have. You've been there in that moment right before sleep when your thoughts start to dissolve and something warm and quiet moves in to take their place. You've been there in the middle of a song that hit somewhere so deep it made you forget where you were. You've been there staring at a fire or an ocean or a night sky full of stars when your mind went completely still and for just a moment you weren't anywhere but right there. Not thinking about yesterday, not worried about tomorrow, just present, clean, whole. That place has a lot of names. Mystics call it enlightenment, meditators call it presence, scientists call it the default mode network, going quiet. I call it the space between thoughts because that's what it literally is. You've had thousands of thoughts today, maybe millions, constant, relentless, one after another. But between every single one of those thoughts, there was a gap, a tiny silent space. Before one thought ended and the next one began, most people never notice it. It goes by so fast. But it's there. It's always there. And here's what lives in that gap: no past, no future, no version of you that made mistakes or is carrying guilt. or is afraid of what's coming. Just awareness. Pure, clean, open. The thing that notices everything. That thing, that's what you are. Not your thoughts, not your memories, not your body, not your history, not your diagnosis, not your mistakes, not your masks. The thing that notices all of those things, the observer, the witness, the part of you that was watching from layer 3 in my bathroom that night. The part of you has never been hurt. That part of you has never been abandoned, has never made a mistake, has never been lost. It's been here the whole time. Patient as the universe itself. Quiet as the space between the stars. Watching, waiting, wondering when you'd finally stop long enough to notice it. I'm not going to stand here and tell you I have any of this figured out. I don't. Most days, I'm still on autopilot, still in my head, still carrying things I should probably put down, still figuring out who I am underneath all the layers I built to survive. But something has shifted. It started with a chair swinging in a quiet room, and it led me here, to this microphone, to you. If you got anything from me, I hope it's this. You are not what happened to you. You are not the mask you wore to survive it. You are not the noise in your head, or the weight on your chest, or the version of yourself you perform for the world. You are the thing underneath all of that. The observer, the witness, the awareness that has been quietly present through every single moment of your life. Tonight, before you fall asleep, find a quiet moment. Let your eyes go soft. Feel your breath. And just ask yourself one question. Not what are you thinking, not what are you feeling, not what do you need to do tomorrow. Just ask, who is here right now? And then listen. You don't need to find an answer. Just notice what lives in the space where the answer would be. That space, that quiet, that awareness watching itself, that's home. I'm Jared. This is Jared Speaks, Season 1, Episode 1, The Space Between Thoughts. Thank you for being here. Thank you for going somewhere most people won't go. Take care of yourself out there. And remember, the most important journey you will ever take starts the moment you stop running from your own mind.